right, what's up, guys? We are back in the studio. It is Monday night, October the 27th. We want to welcome you to the podcast. This is End Time Headlines, news and headlines from a prophetic perspective. Of course, I'm your host, Ricky Scaparo, the founder and the voice of End Time Headlines. It's good to be back. Many of you guys, our normal viewers, our regular viewers and listeners know that we took my family and I took a little bit of time, went down to a little bit outside of Tallahassee, Florida, a kind of a little bit of the old Florida area, just real quiet, real peaceful. Wasn't busy, wasn't hectic, and it was just the way we like it. So had a great time. Appreciate you guys and everyone who prayed for us for safe travels and all that. And we're glad to be back with you guys. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, tonight, I want to talk about two stories. One, I want to talk about why is there such, and I'm going to tell you how this got brought up. There was myself, including some friends of mine, we were having these conversations about 3i Atlas. And we've all come to this consensus, and the same question comes up among all of us when we talk about this, and that is, why is there such hype and hysteria around this? Again, the general consensus from most astronomers is that this is a comet. So why is there such hype and hysteria around this? We're going to talk about that today. And then we're going to talk about an alarming new report coming out of Russia where they have tested what they're calling a flying Chernobyl. It's a super weapon that they claim has unlimited range. Putin is boasting about this, and Trump, in response, has issued a chilling warning after the test of this new nuclear missile. So we're going to cover these two topics today on tonight's podcast. So let's go.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, guys, again, if you haven't hit that like button, please help us out. That's going to help us push this out on the algorithm on YouTube so other people can find us out there in the sea of publishers and content creators and all of the other YouTube creators. It's very difficult to get out there and get eyes on your program. This is why, through the help of our viewing audience, you can help us. When you hit that like button, it pushes us out there and it gets us better seen on the algorithm. So if you could help us out, we'd appreciate that. And hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification as well if you want further notifications of when we do live broadcast or when we do these podcasts like this throughout the night or breaking news or whatever the case may be. Again, you can keep up with all the alerts by hitting that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. And listen, if you're new, first time joining us, we welcome you to the broadcast. Let us know in the comments that you're new and where you guys are tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you as well. All right, so what is 3i Atlas? We've talked about this, guys. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this because we've talked about this. So let me give you a quick synopsis of what this is. 3i Atlas is an interstellar comet, meaning basically it's from outside our solar system. It was discovered on July 1st of 2025 by a telescope in Chile. It is only the third confirmed interstellar object ever observed passing through our solar system. All right. Why is there such hype and hysteria about this comet? Now, when I did some research on this, there's basic reasonings for this. Number one is it's the fact that it's an interstellar object. Because of its orbit, it's hyperbolic and it doesn't seem to have been slingshotted by a planet inside of our solar system. Therefore, it has to come from outside of our solar system. This literally means it could carry clues about other star systems and how they form and etc. So that's the number one reason why there's such hype about this. Number two, is the unusual chemistry and composition of this object. Observations from the James Webb Space Telescope showed that its comet is dominated by carbon dioxide with a very high CO H2O ratio, among the highest ever measured in a comet. Notice how they say it's a comet, but yet, for whatever reason, guys, they keep saying, especially Avi Loeb, and we're going to pull him up, and he's going to talk about this in just a minute. This guy is convinced this is not a comet. Basically, what this means, it suggests it's either it's been formed in a very different environment than most solar system comets, or it is experienced unusual processing or erosion. Number 3 is the size and observation of this. While there is uncertainty in its actual size, there is estimates being made that it placed the nucleus diameter at anywhere from a few hundred meters up to several kilometers. Though it won't come very close to the Earth, so there's no danger to this thing coming to the Earth, its trajectory and brightness make it observable by telescopes and of those of interest. All right, number 4. Because interstellar visitors are rare, each is unique. Each is a unique data set. The fact that we have this technology, all these telescopes and etc., ready to observe this atlas, yeah, what a joke. Yeah, they're all ready to observe the atlas, but if they don't black them out, if they don't turn off the equipment, because the equipment from NASA, according to the latest, they were not able to get clear images of this because of the government shutdown. So much for that. All right. Some researchers, here's the final point here. Some researchers speculate the exotic possibilities that this is a non-natural origin or unusual trajectory. Again, this is where you get into, this is what has fueled all of this right here. So scientists are still uncertain about the exact size of this object. They don't know the origin and the environment of this object. They don't know if it's fully yet a comet yet. But yet again, the consensus among these guys is this is a comet. Now, let me give you the latest on this, and then I'm going to give you because I know people's going to ask, well, Brother Ricky, what do you think this is? I'm going to give you my personal opinion on this. But before we do that, it is interesting. I will give you this. This quote unquote comet, object, interstellar object, whatever it is so intriguing that why is there a special training exercise that will be conducted by astronomers from November the 27th to January 27th of next year? That's an interesting question. I want to read this from Michael Snyder. An absolutely gigantic space rock that has a mass larger than 33 billion tons will be making its closest approach to Earth on the 19th of December. We are being told that this gigantic space rock does not pose a threat, but all of a sudden, a special training exercise that is exclusively focused on Comet 3I Atlas has been scheduled, look at this, for a 2-month period beginning on the 27th of November and ending on the 27th of January of next year. Needless to say, Comet 3I Atlas will make its closest approach on Earth during that 2-month period. Could it be possible that they have just discovered something about the gigantic space rock that they aren't telling us? Isn't it interesting? Let's just read on here. There has been much speculation about this comet, as we've talked about this, because it is unlike anything astronomers have ever seen before. In fact, according to a report, at one point, this object had an anti-tail, and now it's being reported that it has just performed a dramatic tail reversal. Quote, astronomers tracking the mysterious interstellar visitor 3I Atlas have revealed that the object has performed a dramatic tail reversal, now pointing away from the sun. The change comes just months after a Hubble telescope images captured unusual anti-tail, a jet of particles streaming toward the sun instead of away from it. New high-resolution observations from the Nordic Optical Telescope in the Canary Islands confirmed that the anti-tail seen in July and August have vanished, and a new one formed in the opposite direction by September. Scientists are telling us that this tail reversal has happened because Comet 3i Atlas is now much closer to the sun. I'm going to read this quote. Officials with IAWN, that's the International Asteroid Warning Network, admitted in a recent interview that this object was causing, quote, listen to this, unique challenges for predicting its trajectory, and decided to add 3i Atlas to the Comet astrometry campaign. I'm going to pull this up. This is going to a little bit more detail on this training exercise. This is from Daily Mail. NASA quietly deploys planetary defense tools after interstellar visitor shows, quote, odd light behavior. What? Let's read here. NASA has quietly made a major move to defend the planet after a mysterious interstellar object displayed a more strange and unexplainable behavior. The supposed comet has just been added to the list of threats tracked by a UN-endorsed group focused on planetary defense against near-Earth objects. Yada, yada, yada. We've already heard about all this. On Tuesday, officials with IAWN admitted that the object was causing unique challenges. What does that even mean, guys? For predicting its trajectory, and decided to add this to its campaign. The object has displayed several unusual features that defy the typical behavior of comets, including anti-tail jet of particles that points towards the sun rather than away from it. According to the release, scientists will be running a special training exercise. Again, here's the dates if anybody is interested in marking that down. November the 27th to January the 27th. Again, this is a 60-day, 2-month period. Telescopes and tracking systems around the world will focus on this alleged comet to refine methods for pinpointing its exact location in the sky. All right, now I want to show you this. This is an interview with Avi Loeb. This is from News Nation. The headline of this is Suspicious Comet May Herald, quote, Black Swan Event. This is interesting. Let's watch this.
Avi Loeb joins us now. He's the head of the Galileo Project, director of Harvard University's Institute for Theory and Computation, and author of the book Extraterrestrial. Okay, Avi, we've had you on so many times. I always love talking to you about this. Any more of a clue as to what this thing is or is not?
Well, we are still waiting for NASA to release an image, the highest resolution image with 30 kilometers per pixel that was obtained on October 2nd by the HiRISE camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. We are seeing the anti-tail that was pointed towards the sun, opposite to what we see in the context of comets, and now changing direction and going away from the sun, the more conventional way. We don't know what the reason is. And as you pointed out, we see some unusual composition of nickel with very little iron that we only find in industrially produced nickel alloys. And the size of the object, it's at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous interstellar objects we've seen. And the question is, why is such a giant object delivered to our inner solar system when we saw only small ones before? And it comes along the plane of the planets around the sun, and it comes close to Mars, Jupiter, and we just have to monitor it. And gladly, yesterday, the International Asteroid Warning organization network decided to have a campaign starting on November 27th until January 27th, where it will coordinate using all the assets we have on Earth and in space to get as much data as possible about this mysterious object. And, that would be a great blessing, irrespective of whether it's natural or technological. But if it happens to do a maneuver when it comes close to the sun, the way spacecraft do, using gravitational assist from the sun, that would definitely affect the markets, the financial markets, and politics on Earth.
Why? Because everybody will suddenly feel like, uh-oh, we've just been invaded? I mean, because if it does a maneuver around the sun, that would show it's not a natural object, right?
Yes, it will be a technological signature, but it could be also a mothership that releases mini probes that maneuver. And so I tasked the research team of the Galileo project. We have 3 observatories monitoring the sky to check for any unusual activity in the coming months. We have also orbiters around Mars that could check for unusual activity there. So I think we should keep our eyes open and not assume anything, because it could be a black swan event where something that looks natural at first ends up being like a Trojan horse, and because the implications are so huge for humanity, we must consider it seriously.
And you just put an article out, it like literally just posted a few minutes ago. I wonder, the last line of this article you write, 3i Atlas will get closest to Earth on December 19th, 2025. Here's hoping that by then we will know more about our dating partner in this interstellar blind date. Are you the only person? Are there other people who are sharing your concern about what this object is and about the possibility that it could be something that is not natural?
Oh, definitely. There is a huge amount of interest. I was just invited to Washington, D.C. to speak with congresspeople and others. I'm speaking with Joe Rogan in a couple of days on his podcast. There is a lot of people who really want to learn more about it. There is also misinformation, of course, but the beauty of science is that we should be guided by data. And this is an excellent opportunity also to attract young people to science, because it's exciting. And the implications of the findings that we will have in the coming months could be very significant, and we should do the same for future objects of this nature.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
I should
Joe
say
Rogan's
one more
really
thing.
big into space,
I should say one thing about blind dates. You often assume that the partner, the dating partner, would be very friendly, but you have to worry about the serial killers as well. Just yesterday, there was the first analysis of the image from the Hubble Space Telescope of this object. And guess what? There is no tail. But more importantly, there is glow in front of the object instead of behind it.
It's got headlights. It's got headlights. You're not celebrating Halloween this year. That's the take-home message.
Just as an English to English translation, if I'm summarizing, there is a large rock that most scientists think is a comet that is bigger than the size of Manhattan, hurling towards space or hurling through space, potentially towards the Earth, that you believe may be alien technology, potentially a mothership that does not have any of the signs of a comet, but has headlights potentially or a glow in front of it. And it's scheduled to arrive potentially on Earth on October 29th? Is that accurate?
Not to Earth, but to get closest to the sun along its path.
But Avi, it's going to appear when we can't see it, which would be the best time for it to make a sneaky maneuver.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So, guys, again, this thing is just shrouded in hype and hysteria. And again, if you've been around this thing long enough, you will begin to, it will spark your remembrance. It'll bring some nostalgia of some things that's happened in the past. And this is reminiscent of a situation that happened. It's same exact stuff in 2011. There was a comet. Some of y'all remember this. Many of you may not. So hear me out. There was a comet that was called Elenin, E-L-E-N-I-N. Another name for it was C2010X1. This was a comet that caught global attention, and it sparked internet frenzy and hysteria. This was called a doomsday comet. Why? Well, let me give you some facts about this. It was discovered by Russian amateur astronomer Leonid Elenin on December the 10th, 2010, with a remote-controlled telescope in New Mexico. It was a long elliptical orbit around the sun. It was on a long elliptical orbit around the sun, estimated to take about 11,600 years to complete one full revolution. This wasn't a large comet. It was about 2 to 3 kilometers wide, quite small compared to major comets. The comet made its closest approach to the sun on September the 10th, 2011. All right, its closest approach to Earth was on October 16th, 2011, at a safe distance of about 21 million miles, nearly 90 times farther than away from the moon. Before that point it disintegrated due to solar radiation and tidal forces. By the time it was near Earth's orbit, it had essentially broken apart and faded away from view. However, now here's what's interesting about this comet, guys. This thing was shrouded in internet hysteria. Number one, let me tell you some of the conspiracy theories that went around about this. There was all kinds of videos. YouTubers were posting this, blogs were posting that Elenin was actually a brown dwarf star or a planet-sized object, aka Planet X or Nibiru. Hello, there is people out there on the internet, YouTube, blogs, social media, that are saying the exact same thing about 3I Atlas, okay? Number two, its alignment with Earth. Many speculated that it was causing massive disruptions in the Earth. We're talking about seismic disruptions, earthquakes, pole shifts, and global catastrophes. They're saying the same thing about this object, this comet, whatever this is. I'm going to say it's a comet. And remember all the recent earthquakes that we've seen, the large 7.0, 7.5, 7.6, 7.3 off the coast of Russia and other areas around the world that these large earthquakes are happening. Many people, again, on the internet, social media, YouTube, etc., are all claiming that this object, 3I Atlas, is causing atmospheric disturbances. Then the conspiracies grew that the name Elenin stood for, because the first three letters are ELE of Elenin, stood for extinction level event. Okay? And so therefore they believed that NASA was hiding and the world governments were hiding the information from people and suppressing this information, that this was going to be a planet killer. But guys, here we are. We're in 2025 and that never happened. It never came to fruition, and these were all, and people, I'm telling you, the hysteria that was shrouded around that comet was insane. And I believe, in my opinion, I believe this is the same thing that's happening right now. And people like Avi Loeb, I don't know his intent. Now here's where we can get into some speculation here. I don't know why he's so bent on just trying to convince us that this is an alien probe, a mothership, whatever the case may be, alien technology. But they said this stuff, guys, about the last interstellar object. Remember the giant, looked like a giant turd, literally. The Moa or whatever it was called, that it looked like a giant floating turd. And they said, and this same guy came out and said that this was alien technology, it was alien origin, and it was nothing. It was just a large whatever, piece of space rock or whatever the case may be. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I believe is something's going on for sure. I believe there's conspiracies around this, but it may not be what you think. I think there's a lot of gaslighting going on. I think there's a lot of psyops going on, and I believe we're being conditioned for a larger event. And I don't think 3I Atlas is the event that they're preparing us for. I don't think it is going to be the event that they're going to try to introduce to the world or try to deceive the masses. I think all this is doing is warming us up for the main attraction. Okay, we'll see. We'll find out. But that's what I'm going to go ahead and tell you. That's what I believe it is. I believe that this is nothing more than a comet, and you're going to find out that it's going to disintegrate. All this hype and hysteria that's been gathered around this thing, just like with the comet Elenin in 2011, it will all dissipate and it will die off, and we'll move on to the next big event. Now, speaking of the next big event, that we're being conditioned for something much larger down the road. And again, I don't have a timeline on this, but I can see it coming. Let me read this article here. UFO tracker shows thousands of eerie underwater objects lurking along U.S. coast. A popular UFO reporting app has recorded thousands of sightings of unidentified submersible objects. These are USOs, that's the acronym, near U.S. waterways, a phenomena which high-ranking U.S. Navy officials warn could, quote, pose a threat to national security. Here's an image, if you guys are watching this by visual, here's an image of one of these quote-unquote objects under the water emerging. Enigma, which touts itself as the largest queryable historic sighting database for global UFO sightings, claims it has received reports on over 30,000 unidentified flying objects and unidentified anomalous phenomena since launching in 2022. But the sightings haven't been limited to the skies, with reports also coming in about strange objects rising from the depths of the sea or plunging into the water without so much as a splash. Now, guys, we have talked about so many on other podcasts, on other programs that we've done. We've talked about high-ranking officials, congressmen, and just normal citizens they've captured video of these objects coming up out of the water when all the drone hysteria was going on last year. Many of these were seen coming from the ocean and coming out of the ocean. Let me read on down here. What the U.S. states, the U.S. states with the most reported USO sightings were California, 389, and Florida, 306, both among the top 3 U.S. states with the most ocean coastline. One of the most bizarre reports includes phone camera video of unexplained green lights traveling beneath the surface of the ocean. And again, this is the image right here that they're talking about right here, where they captured that on, they took a photograph of that. All right, alarm bells were raised in July of 2019 when the USS Omaha recorded a UFO UAP that vanished into the ocean without a trace after buzzing a Navy fleet off the coast of San Diego. Video of the incident was verified by the Pentagon, displaying the capabilities of one individual said that, quote, jeopardizes U.S. maritime security, which is already weakened by our relative ignorance in the global ocean. In his 29-page report for UFO-focused think tank, the Sol Foundation, Gallaudet said there are a documented pattern of similar phenomena being reported. All right, then we had this report. Let's watch this.
Lawmaker Tim Burchett sharing about an account from an admiral describing an underwater UFO as large as a football field moving at hundreds of miles per hour underwater. And Representative Burchett is joining us live on News Nation Prime now. Representative, I appreciate you making the time tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. I was just out in the field. My donkeys got out, so you're a welcome relief from all that.
There's a whole story there, but first let's talk about, tell me more about the circumstances that you talked about this week. What did the Admiral disclose to you? When was this? What exactly did he say?
It's been a while. You know, I get a lot of people that want to disclose things to me, and I'm really cautious about it because, frankly, a lot of it is just theory and things like that. When you hear firsthand accounts, and this isn't the first one that I've seen, there's been sonar. I've talked to several different people that have said this thing, and I believe sonar is underwater. So the way our military hides this from us is because our sonar is probably high tech. I don't know. Is more high-tech than anybody else. But the odd thing is we want to hide it from the Chinese. But you and I both know, and America knows, that probably most of the components for our double-secret sonar is probably bought from the Chinese. So they pretty much know what we got. And there's basically, I've been told there's 5 really deep-sea areas that we know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the surface of the ocean there. And you have a lot of UFO or UAP activity there. And people are sighting these things. You're having sailors, you're having different people all across the world. And the numbers seem to be higher in these areas. And that leads you to believe, is something traveling light years? Is that even possible in our realm of thought? I mean, you're talking about the light from the closest stars left there before the time of Christ when we see it at night. So, you know, you have to think, well, maybe something is here. And has it been here long? And, you know, and I talk to folks in the Christian community and others that think it's part of the spiritual realm. I'm not doubting anybody's beliefs or anything. I'm not trying to rain on that. I'm just reporting what I've been told multiple times, and this is something I've pulled together. So I believe there's something going on, and our government, once again, is spending tens of millions of dollars on something.
By the way, guys, the dog's barking is not me. It's in the background of Senator Burchett's house.
That they tell us does not exist.
Just want to let you know.
And that's
So
why
Representative, can you take us back? What exactly did this admiral tell you?
Well, the last thing he told me was they're real. He said they're real. It was just me and him talking in a doorway, actually, and he described sonar readings of something, and I believe it was described as large as a football field, and the speeds were just something that we're not even close to being able to do underwater. I wasn't thousands of miles an hour. It was in the realm of a couple hundred miles an hour, but still, I think the closest thing we've got something that does close to 40 miles an hour, maybe, or 45, something like that. I don't know, maybe some of our secret apparatus, but anyway, and this is not the first time this has happened. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to others that have said the exact same thing. People that were on a ship or on a sub, that's something, they had weird pings, things that showed up, and they moved at such a speed that it was just not fathomable in our.
And did that admiral speak about potential alien bases underwater as well?
Well, that was another. I put all these conversations together, but that seemed to be the realm of possibility, and that he agreed that I did, that something traveling is just not in our realm of understanding. But again, I had breakfast with a former NASA engineer with a couple of folks, and one of them asked sort of a smart aleck question, sort of pointed at me, saying, well, what about all these aliens? What about these Martians Burchett's talking about? And he turned to him and said, we have uncovered things that we do not understand. They're moving at speeds that we do not understand. They're at angles, stop and go. He said, I don't know if it's a wormhole. I don't know how they are doing it, but they are doing it.
All right. So I think this right here, as far as these, whatever these things are that are lurking off the coast, these underwater bases, I think that is going to somewhere down the road. It may not happen right away, but down the road, I think that's going to come into play. I think that's going to come into play with deception and with something they're going to try to pull off. And think about it, guys. Pull all this together. The drones over the bases, military bases around the world, the mysterious drones coming up out of the oceans. There's these alleged 5 UFO bases that are submerged under the ocean. You've got, you've got representatives and you've got congressmen saying that these are otherworldly origins, and they're really hyping this stuff up. Then you got all the hype and hysteria around 3i Atlas. What we have is we have a tapestry that's being constructed and built that is going to be the ultimate playground of deception. And I always go back to the 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, the lying signs and wonders, the deception that if it were possible, the very elect would be deceived. That's where I see all this going. So don't expect anything to come in the next couple of weeks. I think this whole 3i Atlas thing is going to be a big, massive nothing burger that's going to blow over, just like Comet Elenin was in 2011. But then as things calm down, this stuff will ramp back up, because eventually we got to get to the goalpost of deception as far as the UFO nonsense that's been going on. Now I want to shift gears, and we're going to talk about this for the second half of our segment. Some interesting developments have taken place with Russia. According to reports from The Sun, Russia tests a nuclear-powered flying Chernobyl missile superweapon, that's what they're calling this thing, that has, quote, unlimited range. Let's read a little bit about this. All right, Vladimir Putin claims that Russia has test-launched a new nuclear-powered missile dubbed the Flying Chernobyl and has, quote, vowed it will soon be ready for war. Wow. The Russian president said his menacing 9M730 Berezovsky missile, aligned the codename Skyfall by NATO, was a weapon of unlimited range powered by a nuclear engine. Here's a little breakdown of this. If you're watching this visual, This weapon has thermonuclear warheads. It has unlimited range. It has a nuclear engine, has a 40-foot length. It's stealth. And again, its code name is SSC-X-9 Skyfall. Putin's long-touting super weapon will be met by skepticism in the West, with the missile development history previously blighted by failures and delays. The Skyfall missile was previously described by top State Department official Thomas Countryman as, quote, uniquely stupid weapon system. Wow, a uniquely stupid weapon system. He called this weapon a, quote, flying Chernobyl that poses more threat to Russia than it does to other countries due to its deadly radioactive trail. So that's where they're coming up with this name for this. But the latest supposedly successful missile launch saw it travel for 14,000 kilometers for 15 hours, according to top Russian Army general. A top Russian Army general. We'll just leave it at that. Putin also boasted his new weapon was, quote, invincible in the face of current and future missile defense systems. It was first unveiled in 2018 and was one of 6 Russian super weapons held by Putin. Again, this thing carries a nuclear or thermonuclear warhead. And again, experts have cast doubt over its realistic capabilities, and little is publicly known about its technical details. I want to read this here. Visually, this weapon resembles a traditional cruise missile with folding wings for compact launch storage. It launches from a ground platform using a solid fuel booster, then switches to an air-breathing nuclear-powered jet engine once it reaches cruising speed. In theory, this engine heats incoming air via a compact nuclear reactor, allowing the missile, listen to this, guys, to stay airborne for weeks or even months without refueling. I want to say that one more time. Very alarming. If this weapon is truly successful, and it's been successful in its testing, they're saying that the way this thing operates, the engine heats incoming air via a compact nuclear reactor, allowing the missile to stay airborne for weeks or even months without ever refueling. All right, sources estimate that the missile's operational range is at 22,000 kilometers, though in practice it may be virtually unlimited. Such a missile could patrol potential conflict zones indefinitely, awaiting launch commands. Upon receiving orders, it could maneuver towards targets from unpredictable vectors, making interception extraordinarily difficult. Wow. This is a game changer. This is a nightmare scenario for military planners and the whole game of war here that we're talking about here. And it would be exceedingly difficult to perform a successful surprise first strike on an adversary that already has a guaranteed retaliatory strike already in the air. Think about this. And again, one Russian official, claimed that this was a, quote, absolutely new class of weapon. He also claimed it was invulnerable to current and future missile defenses due to its almost unlimited range and unpredictable flight path. Now, of course, Trump has responded to this. Let's read a little bit on what he said about this. This is from the New York Post. Trump issues chilling warning to Putin after Russia tests new invincible nuclear missile. According to the report, Trump issued a chilling warning to Putin on Monday after the Russian tyrant boasted about testing his country's new invincible nuclear missile. Quote, "They know we have a nuclear submarine, the greatest in the world, right off their shore," Trump told reporters aboard Aircraft One on Monday as he prepared to travel to Japan. He was speaking after Putin on Sunday hailed this weapon as a unique nuclear-powered missile, which the country says could strike targets within the United States. Quote, "They're not playing games with us. We're not playing games with them either," President Trump continued before repeating his demand that Putin end the war in Ukraine. I don't think it's an inappropriate thing for Putin to be saying, by the way. He ought to get the war ended. A war that should have taken 1 week is now in its soon 4th year. That's what he ought to do instead of testing missiles. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky has upped his calls for the U.S. to supply his country with long-range missiles to force Putin to make peace. Peace by force. Interesting. Zelensky praised Trump's latest sanctions on Russia, saying, quote, they will make a difference, but warned that more pressure was needed to bring an end to the conflict raging since February of 2022. President Trump is concerned about escalation, but I think if there are no negotiations, there will be an escalation anyway. I think that if Putin doesn't stop, we need something to stop him. Sanctions is one such weapon, but we also need long-range missiles. So, folks, the Russian-Ukraine drama continues. It continues to evolve. It continues to escalate. It continues to expand. And now, if the reports are correct and if they are true, then Russia has now successfully tested a new weapon in their arsenal that is terrifying, to say the least, that can stay in the air. It can stay airborne for weeks. This could be a game changer in this conflict. And if and when, possibly, we were to get involved in or engage in a war with Russia directly, then this would be absolutely catastrophic on many scales because of the nuclear capabilities of America, the nuclear capabilities of Russia. And in my opinion, guys, this falls in the category of, again, Matthew 24. There will be wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. But be not troubled, for these things must take place first, and the end is not yet. So we're not talking about the end of the world here. We're not talking about all that stuff. We're talking about more birth pangs of the Messiah that's intensifying and increasing on our watch, on our timeline, in our lives, in our children's lives. Where is this leading? Where is it all going? Well, again, read the book of Revelation. It tells you. Eventually, we will get to a point where the end of the church age will come to a climax, the end of the age. It will come to an end, and once that takes place, humanity will be thrusted into what's called Jacob's trouble, or this tribulation period that will be unlike anything that's ever been seen in history and before. And you get into that, and you start talking about these four horsemen of the apocalypse, and we're talking about wars, we're talking about disasters, we're talking about cosmic events, all the whole thing. It's all there. And what we're in now is the birth pangs leading up to that. So we wanted to get you up to par on this. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your comments. Again, what do you think about Comet 3I Atlas? Do you agree with my assessment on this? This is a big nothing burger, or do you believe something will come to fruition out of this, or if it's something more? What do you think about, again, this latest alleged weapon testing that's been carried out by Russia and its success? And could they use this in Ukraine? And if they do use this in Ukraine or against NATO down the road, then what would be the ramifications of that? Will America be pulled into that? These are all talking points and conversations that we need to have, that we need to think about. But I want to leave you with Luke 21:28, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus said, when you begin to see all these things coming to pass, look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. Guys, this is not fear-mongering. This isn't hyperbole. This is preparing you. We're giving you the truth. We're preparing you for the times ahead. What does that look like? Wars, calamities, rumors of wars, deception, the waves and seas roarings, and men's hearts failing them for the fear of the expectation of things coming upon the earth. That's not hyperbole. That's not fear-mongering. That's the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're telling you is the Bible. We're telling you the Word of God. We're just pulling headlines from a prophetic perspective to get you to provoke your thoughts, and to also wake you up and to get you motivated to spread the message of the gospel to your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, and let them know, listen, the time is running out. The grains of sand are running through the hourglass. There's not much time. Today is the day of salvation. Repent. Put your faith and your trust in Jesus Christ for the remission of your sins, so that whatever may come tomorrow, or goodness sake, even by the end of the day, you'll be ready. And you'll know that you have that peace that surpasses all understanding that will keep you. And Jesus said, lo, I'll be with you until the end, even until the end of the age. And then once that end of the age comes, in my opinion, guys, that's when the event will take place. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 through 17. That archangel, I believe, in my opinion, it's Michael, will step over that banister of heaven. That there will be that shout and that voice of a trumpet. And then the dead in Christ will rise first. And we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, and we shall be forever with him. So comfort one another with these words. Listen, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. That's going to be our main landing page, our main website that you can find us. If you don't have our free app, we want to encourage you to pick it up today. You can get it on Apple and Android devices. Just simply, if you're watching the video portion of this, in the description of this video, there's a link. If you'll click where it says download our free app, you can get it that way. Or you can go to your app store, type in End Time Headlines, look for our official trademark ETH logo right there on your screen. Download it, hit yes to push notifications, and you're good to go. You're squared away. You'll have everything right there at your fingertips. Listen, if this ministry bless you, encourages you, equips you, informs you, all of the above, week after week, and you'd like to support this ministry, partner with this ministry, help contribute to our ministry, whatever the case would be, whatever the Lord puts on your heart, we want to give you this really quick video on how you can partner with End Time Headlines. Watch this, and we'll be right back.
If you enjoy our content and would like to partner with End Time Headlines, helping us make more people aware of the times and seasons which we are in from a prophetic perspective, you can go to endtimeheadlines.org and click Support. Here you can give a one-time gift or a monthly pledge on our main website. This page also shows you how to give electronically through Cash App or Venmo. If you would like to give by check or money order, you can make it out to End Time Headlines at P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. Or you can give through our free End Time Headlines app by pressing the bottom right button that says Donate.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for Monday. We plan on being back here tomorrow night, the 28th. 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but we'll have something for you. And we've got a lot to catch up on. Again, we were away for a few days, and I'm looking forward to being back in the saddle and getting some content out there and some talking points, equipping messages, all the above. So stay tuned for the rest of this week, and we'll have a great time. And who knows? What's going to come in 24 hours? A lot can change, a lot can happen. A lot of times we'll have something planned that we'll want to talk about, and then we put that on the back burner because something more important comes up, and we talk about that instead. So that's why we tell you to get the app and subscribe and do all that so you can keep up with this. So listen, we're going to sign off for tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. And until we see you guys on the next one, I pray the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his countenance shine upon you. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.